Hi, it's Lori from Coast to Coast Craft Girls coming to you from the West Coast. Today I wanted to share a little home decor piece that I made with you. It's a vase of flowers. It's big. It's about 12 inches high and about 9 inches across, so about 12 inches high and about 9 inches across. It does collapse down. If you wanted to put it in a box or a big mailer envelope and send it to someone, you could. But I just love the way that it came out. Let me show you how it's made. Okay, so let's get started. We start with 2 pieces of card. They are both 8.5 by 5.5, and they're scored at 2 1/4, 5 3/4, and 8, and that gives you a 2 1/4 inch side, and then a 2 1/4, 3.5, 2 1/4, and then a 1/2 inch glue tab. And so we're going to put that one there, and then this is exactly the same, and we're just going to have the glue tab on the other side, and we're going to glue those together to create a little 6-sided shape. This is going to be the bottom part or the main part of our vase. So it's a little tacky glue or red liner tape or double-sided tape, whatever you want to use, and just line up the edges. Get it square. Press it down. A little tape on the other glue tab. And this one you can just fold over, fold it flat, because you want it to make sure that it fold flat, especially if you want to be able to put it in the post in an envelope. And then once you have it, you can kind of fix the shape. That's the basis of our vase. Now I'm going to go ahead and put on my mats and layers on the side just before I decorate it, because it's going to be easier. So this is from the Beautiful Butterflies collection, and it's just the pink stripe I thought would be pretty on the front of there. And I'm going to mat and layer all the way around, because I'm going to make this vase of flowers be pretty all the way around from all sides. So you need 4 pieces that fit on that 2 1/4. So these are just under 2 1/4 by just under 5 1/4. And then this one's the wider size. When I mat and layer, I go down just about 1/4 inch. And you could do multiple mats and layers if you wanted to. I actually considered putting like doing an embossing folder, or a nicer, prettier patterned paper, like, even the side of the paper. But I didn't want to detract from the flowers, so I wanted to keep the vase fairly plain. So I thought this was a good option for cardstock for decoration. I'm going to do the back side. Okay, well, there's our vase. I'm going to set that to one side. Now we're going to do the inside little springy mechanism that you're ultimately going to mount your flowers on. And you need 3 pieces of, I used green cardstock just so that if you were looking inside, you wouldn't see the white so much. You could use white, whatever you want to use. This piece is 6 by 4 1/4. And these are 2 4.5 by 4 1/4. So they're 4 1/4 tall. So they're going to go in this way. And you're going to put them in like this, because if you look at the vase, obviously it's wider here and narrower there. So they're going to fit in like that. But to hold them in, I want something to hold them in that will also let me collapse the vase. So I'm going to create some little springs. And to create my little springs, I need 8 pieces of card that are 1 by 5.5. And then we're going to do a lot of scoring on these. So let me get my scoreboard out. And we're going to score them all the same. So there's 8 of them. And you're going to score at 1 inch, 1 3/8, 1 3/4 or 6/8, 2 1/8, 2 1/2, 3 1/2, 3 7/8, 4 1/4, 4 5/8, and 5. So essentially you have a 1 inch piece, and then you score every 3/8 to create 4 panels. Then you have a 1 inch, and then 4 panels of 3/8, and then a 1/2 inch glue tab. You can do the exact same thing on all of them. Okay, now you're going to fold these like this, and they're all going to fold exactly the same. So on the 1 inch, first fold down, and then you're going to concertina the little 3/8 inch pieces. And then you're going to concertina these the other way. And that creates, and then we're going to glue that 1/2 inch tab onto there, and that creates your little springy mechanism. Okay, so let's glue that up. Okay, so I've got my little 8 springs made. Now I'm going to put 2 on, so I'm going to put 2 between here and, so this is going to go here. I'm going to put 2 here connected to this piece and then 2 between this piece and that piece, and then 2 between that piece and that piece, and 2 between that piece and the back. So I'm going to go ahead and put them on the cardstock first, and then I'll put it in the vase. So you want them kind of somewhat in the middle. Don't put them too far to the edge, because this is wider than that, and they have to fit within this piece here. You don't want them on the corner. So you can measure if you want, but I just kind of eyeballed it and said I want them about there. There. And then before you do any more, make sure it's going to fit within the score line, and it is. You can see that it's going to fit there. So, and then we're going to put 2 on the back of this one. And you don't have to line them up exactly, but it is easier if you get them in about the same place. So, say like there. And about there. And then this piece is going to glue onto there. So let's go ahead and glue that together. And you want to make sure the bottoms are straight and that you're about centered. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but sort of in there, and then just push it together. Okay, now we're going to put springs on the back side. And you're lining up these springs, that'll make it, help it collapse. And actually, if you use tacky glue, you can kind of see where it is, because the tacky glue wrinkles, you can't, I don't know if you can see that, but it kind of wrinkles the cardstock a little bit. You can see where it goes. Again, line this up on the bottom, make it fairly even, and push it together. Okay, and you can see that that already stands up and it's going to go right inside. We've got one more set of springs to go on there. And this is what's going to allow your vase to collapse, but also to, when you open it up, it will hold, it will stay open. Shoot. Okay, there's all my springs. Now I'm going to put that right inside of here, and I'm going to glue the springs to the front and to the back. So let's go ahead and put glue on these front springs and the back. And it's not critical that you get it in, you know, you just want to kind of get it in the middle, and I just had it at the bottom. You can try and center it if you want, but this was easier because then you just collapse it and push it down. And there you go. And now you've got your vase will fold mostly flat, but sort of automatically springs open and holds its shape, and it gives you something to mount your flowers to that's connected. And now all you have to do is decorate. Now the way I did the decorations is I cut some green, just sort of grass-like stuff, and I did 3 different pieces. The first one is 6 inches long, and they're all, what, 4 and a half, 4 and a quarter. Oh yeah, I took an 8.5 by 11, cut it in half, so it's 4 and a quarter. And then I just literally took my scissors and kind of cut jaggedy shapes. And I'm just going to put that in onto these green. Now you could have made these taller and cut into the top of that, but I just thought it was easier to deal with it as 2 different pieces. And I'm going to cut it, or I'm going to mount it so that the grass kind of sticks up above the top, but isn't, you know, isn't way down there. I want it just kind of so that it's sticking up, and it's just kind of filler, really. So let's just put some glue on, and we're gonna, and you're just gonna glue it onto those green sheets in there. And you can put it on the front or the back, it doesn't really matter. Once you get them in there, you can kind of flatten it to push it all down. And see, that just kind of gives you a little bit of green fullness in there. And now you can start putting your flowers in. I did, for this one, I got a bunch of hydrangeas. This is from the Hydrangea collection. And I just stamped out the big hydrangea and then a bunch of these little ones. And then I won't say I fussy cut them. I cut them on my scan and cut. That's why they're almost perfect. And there's a bunch of them, and I did it really quickly. The scan and cut, amazing for that, because you can just stamp them, put it on the scan and cut. It'll cut right around it. It's like amazing, magical fussy cutting. So perfect. And then I inked these. I just used my water reactive inks and kind of went over them, and then my aqua sunflower yellow pen. And I went ahead and inked the back, even though it's not stamped, so that if you see it from the back side, it's not white, because I didn't want that white. And same with the pink and the lavender. So, and I'm just gonna put those in, and because these stems are so small, I mean, if you mount that, it's just gonna fall over. So what I did is I cut a bunch of green strips of card, and these are just 1/2 inch wide, and I glued them. This cardstock is pretty lightweight, so I glued like 2 or 3 of them together so that it's good and sturdy. And I'm going to use that to glue my hydrangea onto, just like that. And then that'll give me something sturdy to mount it. And this grassy stuff will kind of hide this part. And if it looks bad, I'll shove some leaves in, and you want the green to come up onto the flower head at least a little bit for sturdiness. And see how sturdy that is now. Now, if you really wanted to, you could glue them back to back. And I think I probably will do that just to save on some of the green stems. But because that's not white, it's inked, when it's showing like that, it doesn't look so bad. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this on. It'll save me from having to put too many stems in there, and it will make it just that much sturdier. And see how sturdy that is. And then you just start placing your flowers wherever you want them. And you just kind of glue them in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and start gluing. And you can use foam pads if you want to separate them, a little bit, but and you just want to glue them in, but you want to make sure you don't interfere with the springs. So, and then we're going to do the same thing with the pink and purple, but I think I might just glue those in without the stems and just kind of glue them onto this green like that to kind of fill in. All right, well, there's what it looks like now that I'm all done. I love that. I probably will put a little, like a bow and something on the front, but look how good that looks. And it looks good from both sides. And once that 3D glue gel is dry, I can go ahead and you'd be able to flatten it if you wanted to put it in a box or an envelope to send. But love that. And just to give you a sense of how big that is, it's a 12-inch ruler. So it's about 12 inches high by about 8 or 9 inches across when it's, so if you were going to mail it, you'd have to put it in a box or something. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. I loved making that and love the way it came out. Thanks for watching.